Joining with us today, Caleb Ruter, head coach Chris Hanks, Kolby Felix. Coach, just kind of heading into the season opener on Thursday, just give us kind of a quick overlook, kind of a preview. You see how your team's progressing through the early season here.
Well, we've obviously with the weather been able to get a lot of good reps in. The only thing we're surviving now is the flu bug. It's run through the team, and I don't think we've had a full team at practice on any one day in the last 2 weeks. So we're certainly hoping that we don't get anybody on the bus. But we're doing well. We got our innings in, and I think we're as prepared as we can be, and we leave tomorrow.
Caleb, for you, second year with the program, seems like every guy that's been here for 1 year, their second year, they more comfortable. Same kind of deal for you. Feel comfortable in the program and where you're at right now?
Yeah, I just think getting used to being around the team and kind of learning how things go last year and figuring out the whole process of what it means to be part of Mesa baseball was kind of the learning thing last year, and this year felt more comfortable just kind of being myself within the structure of the team. So,
then Kolby, for you this year, you're healthy. That's probably the biggest thing is you're healthy heading into the season opener. Kind of give us the outlook for the position players.
Yeah, I think all of us are pretty confident going into the game so far. I mean, having a pitching staff that could back us up on defense and then us having a good lineup, I think it should be pretty fun. We're excited.
And before we start taking more questions, Coach, Cal Poly Pomona this week. Haven't played them since, I believe, 2002 or 2003, somewhere in there. What do you know about them? What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, I know two things. They're a preseason ranked, number 2 in their conference, which comes from the coaches. So within the CCAA, they're highly respected. They have a lot of returning players. They have a very good coach. They're well coached, and they'll be at home. So it'll certainly be a good early test on the road.
Say, guys, I mean, you look up and down the roster, it's like, okay, he's back. Who isn't back? I mean, you've lost a couple of guys, but how much more confidence does it give this club going in knowing the depth that is still on this roster? Anybody?
I just think that, we lost as far as position players like Rob Sherrar and Jonathan Gonzalez, and those are obviously big pieces from last year, but I felt like we returned a big core of the lineup, and then even in the pitching staff, Cole Seward is out this year with his shoulder injury, but we're returning most of our innings and a lot of our key position guys from last year. And so along with all the new guys that we have this year, we're pretty excited about where we're at right now.
I mean, Kolby had the one pretty memorable game when I think every time you got up, you went yard. You had a really solid season. And just outfield, like you said, you lost the guy in the middle, but it seems like you're always going to lose somebody. But looks like the outfield is ready, the infield's back. So, is there a limit to what this team can do?
I don't think there's a limit just yet. I mean, yeah, like when you were talking about how many guys have returned, I think there's a stat. I think it was like 96% of the pitchers back. I mean, that's huge. Like, there's really no holes that we're going to have unless someone goes out, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, it should be a really good year, I think.
Skip, what do you see as the strength of this club this year? Is it the returning? Is it the experience? The pitching obviously is getting better and better every year again. And
yeah, I think it's the number of returning guys. I think that, on the surface, if you look at the returning pitching, along with the recruiting and the kids we brought in, I would expect pitching to be the strength of the club, one of the strengths. We have a lot of pieces back in the lineup. We've been battling a little bit of an injury bug positionally. So we'll have a few things there, and there's some guys we're waiting on. But, we have good depth. We have good players. We have that experience. And as long as we don't think we can just show up and be good, I think we will be good.
Coach, how do you guys balance, especially beginning of the season when you're seeing teams like Pomona that you haven't seen in a long, long time? Do you view that as more of kind of a ledger of like where the team is, or maybe it's a little bit less because it's like it's a true neutral? We don't really know them. They don't really know us.
Well, I think it's a good barometer because we know they're a good club. We're on their turf. and we're going to be on the road for the first 3 weeks against all very good opponents. And so we'll be tested. And then the question is, are we ready for that? And I think we are. I think we have the character and athleticism and the quality of players that should be able to do fine, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
And then just for the players, when you guys are logging these serious road miles, like you said, for the next 3 weeks or so, it's all road matchups pretty far away. How do you guys kind of manage to stay in routine or get done what you need to get done ahead of these games?
I mean, I think it's just trusting our training. I mean, like, we've all traveled before, and I think just trusting going back on our training, I think we should just be good. Yeah, just trust ourselves, really.
Yeah, I think just, in the time that we're not at the field on road games, making sure we're doing the right things and getting sleep and getting the right food and all that stuff. And most everything else will take care of itself, like Kolby said, with the training we've already put in. So.
Now, Coach, talking about some of those serious road miles you guys have been traveling, explain what it'll mean to you, if you guys are able to come off with a pretty good record and what that shows about your team very early in the season.
Well, I think it'll show, we want to get off to a strong start. I think if we can do well and come out of that with a good record, it's an indicator that we're on pace to have a good year. But it's a long year. It's more of a marathon than a sprint. And what we look at more than anything, though, is, are we improving? Are the numbers, are the strike percentages on the mound going up? Are the commanded pitches getting better? Are we striking out less? Are we moving runners? Are we executing the game? Simply, are we getting better? Are we committing fewer errors? And those sort of things will be what really tell us a bigger story, I think.
And also, too, talking about pitching, last year, a little slow to get started to the year for pitching. And for you two, have you guys made any big changes, pitching wise this year to try to get off to that start, to get hotter like you did at the end of the year last year and the beginning of this one?
Well, we did a lot of things going back to the fall. We changed a lot the way we train. I think these guys would know that we charted everything this year. And from a strike percentage to, execution of pitches in different counts. All the guys know their velocity ranges with all their pitches. And it really comes down to the guy who starts the game, just keeping things in order out of the gates. As you mentioned, last year we had a lot of trouble, and maybe it was going into some games with some carelessness, thinking we could just huck it up there and throw hard and everything would be well. And, we got ambushed a couple of times. So I believe we've learned from that. We got better as the year went along, and guys made adjustments. So we think we're in a much better place.
Then also for you being on that preseason players to watch list for the conference along with some national lists too, kind of explain what that means to you to be on those lists, but also keeping yourself centered and keep training hard and doing what got you on those lists.
Yeah, it means a lot. People are kind of looking at me in a national standpoint. That's awesome. But I also have to be humble in a way, not really let it get to my head. I'm here for a reason at some point. Yeah, so I'm glad to be a Mav and kind of put in what I want to.
All right, question of the week this week. Two-parter. Who do you have in the Super Bowl, Eagles or Chiefs? And then most memorable Super Bowl that you can remember.
I have the Eagles. I think the Patrick Mahomes reign needs to kind of take a little backseat.
Patty, how do you feel about that?
He's staring right at me. We'll see.
We will see.
Most memorable Super Bowl.
Most memorable Super Bowl. I think the one for me is when I was a kid, my dad took me to the Steelers and Cardinals Super Bowl in Arizona. And we're Steelers fans, so yeah, that was pretty memorable for me.
I would like to see the Eagles win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not the biggest football fan, so I don't really have any strong opinions either way. But I think the last Super Bowl I really remember watching was the last one the Broncos were in. So that's kind of my thing. So.
1977, the Raiders over the Vikings. Kenny Stabler at quarterback, Dave Casper tight end, Cliff Branch wide out. That's my most memorable one. I think
Stick them everywhere.
the Chiefs will probably win, but I've gone ahead. I've crowned the Bills champions, so the game doesn't really matter to me. The Bills won it.
Perfect. Thank you,
I have
everybody.
one more
Good luck this
incredibly tough
weekend.
question.
Oh, go,
How
Patty.
many fights have you had over who's going to coach what base now that Coach Woe is back? Have we figured that out yet?
It's going to be a surprise.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, or we have